Right, hi everybody, welcome to our premiere! Yay!
Yay!
Sorry to get that excited, Mr. F. So today for our little project, I've contorted my head. I made loads of different sketches for measurements. I've made loads of prototypes. Let's see if this works. It's just a little folio. There we go. This has got an expandable pocket on that side, and then it's got an expandable gusseted envelope in the middle. So you can pop things in there, you can pop things in there. You could even put a journal on it, I suppose, in the middle if you really felt that way inclined. That comes over there and that goes there. So that's it. Seems so easy, doesn't it? And yet it's really done my boxing. So let's give it a try anyway. So I thought that I would use up another sheet of my beautiful Prima watercolour floral set. I did check before I did this, they are available still. It's not the cheapest of pads, but it's honestly one of the most beautiful. So I've got all these cut aparts, I've got remnants, really good quality remnants, I'm not throwing those out. More cut aparts. You can tell I don't really use cut aparts. And these, I'm not exactly sure what these are, but I guess you could just clip them out with a round punch. Then I've got one sheet of this beautiful floral left, but I'm just not so sure that I've got the recipe for my thing down yet. So I'm going to use one of these sheets, which is very beautiful still. But I have got, I've got several of those. So let's give this a go. And hope I get it right. Of course it is double-sided, which does help enormously. The paper I showed you in the other one is single-sided. It's out the heirloom pack actually. So there's a lot of white space on that, which we won't have on here. Right, so the first thing to do I reckon is to cut that branding strip off. So let's just do that. Hard to tell where the branding strip is, to be honest. I think it's about there. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. I keep all my branding strips and everything from this pack. Right, so the next thing to do is to do our lines. Now then. So I've got the right side of the paper up. Bear with me guys, bear with me. And I'm going to score at 2 inches. It's quite thick, this paper, so you might have to score, if you're using this, you might have to score a couple of times. And then at 6 inches, then at 10 inches. That's fairly straightforward. And I think we're okay so far. I'll just go back over them with you. 2 inches, 6 inches, 10 inches. That's it. Right. So now I want to turn it towards the right. Do you like the jeopardy involved in this? So I'm scoring at 4. And then again at 9.5. Whoops, that did not go well. Yeah, so I turned it towards the right and scored at 4 and 9.5, and that should be okay. I hope that's okay. Time will tell. Right, so I've got my lines, you can see them there, and a lot of these I don't need. I'm just working this out, guys, just working it out. So with the reverse looking at me, I'm going to chop out this bottom corner here. And I'm going to cut it out just inside that score line that we made. Score bump that we've got. So I just have to hold it into the light till I can see it. And then this top corner wants to come off as well. So just chop along there to the score mark and then cut down here. So this is what we've got on the reverse. We've chopped off this bottom section and this top section. Now we need to cut off a few more bits. We need to cut off this entire bit. So as you come along here, past the first score, up to the second score, and up to that score there, you'll see when I get it done what I'm talking about. Well, hopefully. So I hope you're all doing all right. I've had a really busy week with my new project, which is the Timmy Flippy Flappy. Although, you know, I call it Timmy Flippy Flappy because that's what I'm using. But you can be using anything you like. I was fortunate enough to be gifted in the week. Just a beautiful pack of Tim Holtz paper pads, all the way from Texas, from our Judy. So thank you, Judy. You've allowed this, you know, you've enabled this project that I'm now doing to carry on. So I'm really grateful to you, of course I am. And then I'm going to take the top section out as well. Then I'll show you what's going on. And you know what, I think we might even be right. Which would be shocking. Okay, so there we are, we've got our remnants, and this is what we've got. So we've cut out that top corner, cut out this bottom corner, and then this right along to here, and the top the same. Okay, so this is going to be our gusseted pocket, so let's just fold that in. And just make sure that this edge is inside the scored line, which it should be if you've cut inside it. Then this is going to be our envelope lid, like that, and that's all inside the score line, I think. Let's just check. Yeah, I think that's okay. And then this folds over there. Which gives us our pocket there. And I just need to trim that off because that's a bit of shabby scissoring. Not from first time, not for the last. There we go. So yeah, that's it. So that, once we get that in place, that was going to fold over like that, and then this comes over like that. Jeepers, seems to work. That's just not straight. Now I'm not going to ink this because it's just too pretty, this paper, to ink. It's not going to happen, so I'm not going to do it. And if you wanted to at this stage, you can put another crease line on this, which is going to be a flap, which will allow this room to grow. So that's not a bad idea. Well done, Miss P. So I'm just going to put that line in now. I'm just going to line that up with a 3-inch mark. And I know I can come one over. I mean, you could put a couple in if you wanted, but this will be fine. And I'm just going to fold that in as well. So just kind of push it back on itself till you get to that fold line. That's it. Lovely. And bone folder. And score that in. So now we've got a bit of a, see that sort of 1/4-inch spine along there. It's not really a 1/4 inch, it's near 1/8. Right, so what we're going to do now, let's get the corner rounder out. Now I'm going to round the corners of the top of the pocket with the largest one I've got, which is that one. 10 milli doodahs. Oh, why do you want to keep doing this to me? I don't know. That's better. So that's the top of the envelope, and then just this, the edges of the flap. Just the 10 one again. Turn me around twice and I'm lost, and that is the truth. I have a horrendous lack of knowing where I am. You know, you come out of a supermarket, you go through the pay thing, and then you wheel in your trolley to go out. I always go the wrong way. It's just the way I do things. My brain doesn't work. I mean, it just doesn't work. Right, so I've got these remnants that are cut off, and I just want to get rid of that bump, the score line. So I'm just going to get rid of that. There we are. And then I want to cut two 2-inch pieces out of here. 2 inches and 2 inches. And then I've got this smaller piece, and I need to just cut, I need to cut that bump off the edge. And then 2 lots of that, whatever that measures, at 2 inches. 2 inches. 2 inches. Lovely. And the rest then really are kind of remnants. But, you know, not a lot of remnants actually. Okay, so now I'm going to make my little gussets for my pockets. So let's do the envelope first. So I'm just using the corner of my scoreboard, and I'm just, I want the right side up, and I'm just pressing that into the corner. It just makes life a bit easier. And I'm folding that over till it reaches there, like that. Fold that, crease that in. So I'm just going to crease that with my bone folder. and then put the crease up to the corner and fold the other ones up to meet it. This is reasonably thick card, this, so it's not the most pliable in the world. And then the crease in there, and do the same with this one. And I find that actually these days more accurate than scoring it at every ½ inch, because I don't know, it just wasn't coming out accurate with the scoreboard. So that's what you'll have at the end of that. You'll have that shape. So two mountains, one valley. And I'm just going to do the same with this one. Don't think it matters that it's upside down, but might as well start off right. So we'll just push that up to that edge, crease that in, put the crease up to the edge again, and fold these in right over to that line. So keep pushing till they reach the corner of your scoreboard. If you're using thinner paper, this will be much easier for you, but I'm not. And put that in. And the same palaver. Just crease it up to there. There we go. Oh. So there we are. There's our little doodies, gussets. So let's put those in place. Now I don't want them to go all the way to the bottom because there's not room for them at the bottom. So I need to be cutting a good ½ inch off these. You could measure it before you do it, of course, but I didn't, so I didn't. So just a good ½ inch. Just trying to avoid any gold that might be on these, because there's a bit of foiling on my paper. But there's none on that piece, so we're all right. There we go. So let's put those in place. So I want them with the blue inside, like that. Oh, you sight them so the top of that is right at the top of there. So let's just pop some glue on. Glue on. It sounds like something out of Star Trek. Oh, Mr. F's just filled my glue bottle up, and it's quite lively. So you just pop that level with the top there, and level all the way down so there's nothing sticking out. It's a little bit too tall there, push it down. So that's that. It's not a big deal. Just make sure you haven't got any glue hanging about, because then your gusset won't open properly. There we go. And this one, the same thing. Start with this level at the top. Make sure your edge is nice and straight and there's nothing hanging over. Lovely. There we go. And then that's just going to fold up to there and look all very neat and tidy and give us a really good gusset in there. So I'm going to take a gamble on these being dry. This glue dries very quickly at the best of times. It's actually quite a nice day today. So after this, the weather goes to pot and it gets colder, more miserable, more. Ugh. So I think we could probably say it's our last day of summer. And that's quite sad. Right, so just hold those in, fold that over, and then press them down. There we go. Perfect. That's lovely. There's our lid, yeah. Just need to fold that into place, I think. Lovely. I'm not rounding these corners because I don't like it when you've got rounded corners on top of straight ones. But all I'm going to do with the those little gussets is exactly what I've done with this. So you don't need to watch that, I don't think. Right, so I've got that little pocket. Actually, it's quite a big pocket. You get quite a lot in there. So I was thinking I might put a notebook in there, because it's big enough to hold it. So let's go back to our remnant pile here. Well, remnant and goodies pile. See what we've got. These are all the sort of cutter parts here, which I will come back to. Let's just see what we've got. Nothing here that's big enough, I don't think. No. Let's carry on then. I'm going to take a sheet of these out because I know I want to use them. So I'll take that out for later use. Stay. And possibly some of these as well, actually. So I'll take a sheet of those out. And I'm not using that one. Ignoring that one. What's on the back of that? Ah, that'll do. That's what I'm looking for. Perfect. So I think, yeah, look. It's just going to be big enough to fit into our pocket. Whoo, that's fortuitous. Right, so I want it, it's on the back, yeah, lovely. Let's cut it about there, and I'll tell you what about there measures in a minute. Let's cut it about there. So that actually measures almost 5 1/4. Let's trim that off and see if that's okay. So will that fit in there is the question. Yeah. Yeah, it will. It will. So, I want it to come to maybe there. So I can do that there. So what does that measure? That measures about 3 1/2. So I'm going to score. I want you later, I said, not now. So I'm going to score that line in. It's about 3 1/2. So let's mark that. Oh, I've done that at 3 1/4. That's all right. Be all right. And that's the wrong side. Let's score it this side at 3 1/4. There we go. So that's going to get folded over there like that. That's going to be our little book. Is it going to fit in when it's fattened up? I think so. I think we'll be all right. Lovely. So now I can trim this excess off there. It should be about 3 1/4, I think. Lovely. Right. So saving all your remnants, of course. So let's then, I've laid out some just ordinary white copy paper, and I don't usually just put ordinary white copy paper in a notebook, but this is basically white. The background of this is white, and I just want to keep it clean, you know, so it looks, isn't that just beautiful? So it just looks nice and clean. So that measures from one side to the other. It measures almost 6 1/2. So I probably need to cut my papers about 6 1/4. So let's do that. Cut these at 6 1/4. Don't know how many slices I can slice in one go on my large Timmy trimmer, but we'll give it a go. 6 1/4. Oh, I can't go up to that. Yeah, I can just about right there. See if this wants to cut all of these. It would appear so. Excellent. So, how tall do I want them? About that tall. Which is a touch over 5. So I'll get 2 lots out of this. Oh my life. I don't know that I want all that. Oh, there's Miss Pete falling off the edge. I don't know if I can cut this with this trimmer. Time alone will tell. Sort of. So I could get another lot of papers out of there, but I'm thinking this is probably enough. Actually. So they need to be folded in half. I'm going to fold each one individually, otherwise it never goes right. For me anyway. You might be alright, but mine never work. So there's only 5, so I'm just going to fold them individually over. If you're not good at this, you could use your scoreboard again. And just fold them up to the edge of your scoreboard. Must have had 6. Thought I had 5, but that's fine. That'll do nicely. Lovely. Then we'll just put one inside the other, and then see what happens. There we are. And when you bunch those all together, you get this stepping out business. See, this is the edge of the first one. That one there. And then as it gets closer to the middle, it steps out, because there's not room in this little angle here to accept all that paper, so it has to step out. And I personally don't like that look, so I am going to take that off. So I'm going to get my quilting ruler and hold that level at the back, square it up. Quilting rulers are brilliant for this. So that's kind of 3 1/8. That is, but if that's what it is, that's what it is. Where's my knife? It's got a new sharpish blade in it, so should cut through these all right. If I held it in the right place, it would help. Now just come off bit by bit. Don't force your way through the whole lot in one go. Just sort of stroke it to get the edges off. That looks like that's that. Maybe not quite. Excuse me. I don't know why it's not cutting that bit. It's got a bee in its bonnet about that bit, and I don't know why. Just a little raggedy-taggedy bit. Just going to move it on the board in case there's something on the board. So I can't see why it's just not cutting that. No idea. Let's fold it over the other way and do that. That sounds better. I can honestly say I've never had that happen before. Have I got a... Oh, I'm looking for a... what do you call them? Rotary cutter. I can't find one, so hang on. Right, I found my rotary cutter. I find most things don't argue with this, so let's have a go and see. So I want that on 3 1/8. Let's just see. See, that looks a whole lot tidier. Should have just started with it. Mr. F's just explained to me why it's not cutting, and I can see why, but it darn well is going to cut. There we are. That's lovely. Well, that's pretty lovely anyway. Yeah, that's great. That's lovely. Finally we got there. Look at all the rotary cutter cut off. Rotary cutter's the way to go, guys. I used to use nothing else, but I don't really know why I gave up on it. got seduced by fanciness. Right, so that's going to go into there, like that. Perfect, 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 yes. So we just want to sew that in, so it's just a very regular three-hole pamphlet stitch. Don't need to get fancy on it. So I'm just using this crochet thread that I always use. Crochet cotton, for those of you new to me, I've been using it for years. I think it's called cotton perle. It's brilliant because it's thin, it's strong, does everything we want it to do. So I'm just going to get my pokey tool out, open that up in the centre, get a couple of clips wherever they're residing. Here. Press that right into the corner there, as far in as you can go. Clip one side, clip the other, like that. Then your pokey tool, just press through where you think the middle is. It'll be near enough, and fold your book back on itself. Press that through. Then about, say, 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom, another one, 3/4 of an inch down from the top or thereabouts, another one, that's that. And then what you do is you pass your thread through that middle hole that you've made to the outside, hold on to your end and keep your book closed, and that way you won't have a problem. Pass it through right up to the top hole, pass it out, and then come back to that middle hole, keeping your book folded over, and you can push that through there. So when you get to this stage, you want to have one thread on each side of this long jump stitch here, and then just pull those fairly tight, but you don't want to be tearing your paper or anything, but just pull them. And when you've got them like that, just check. And see, that one's not tight. Just check that they're tight. That's lovely now. And I just tie a double knot over them. You can, if you want, get fancy and hang beads from the end of the threads. I don't think I've ever done that in my life, but you could. So I'm just going to trim those off, and that's me finished with that bit. Zip my clips off, fold my book over, and then just go over that, and it'll just make the holes disappear a little bit. There we are. Now let's see if this wants to fit in our little folio thing. I hope so. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, that's perfect. Lovely. Very, very lovely. Actually, I've put the close end in. I'm just going to try the other end. In there. Yeah, that looks really nice. Okay, so I'm going to close this ultimately with 2 Velcro dots. I haven't put them on yet because it can be a bit of a pain. And so, because we haven't got any other journaling, I recommend that you make another notebook to go in there. So I'm going to do that now. You don't need watch me. You watch me struggle enough with that one. But I'm just going to make another notebook, and then we'll come back and do a nice bit of decorating. Okay, so I have made another book. I used this paper, another paper out of the pad, so it all coordinates. Of course, this one went perfectly, and you know, it looks grand. So that's just hopefully going to go in there. Hopefully. Yes, look at that, it's perfect. So we've got two really good sized journals, because that's pretty much all there is in here. So that's going to go down there, that's going to fold over there, and that's going to fold over there. And now the fact that we've got that 1/4 inch spine or 1/8 of an inch spine there is good, because it's having to take up all this bulk, and a single spine wouldn't have done it. I mean, it would, but it wouldn't have looked right. So let's get decorating. Yay! So I have Mr. F's happy to be decorating. So I've got all these cutter parts, and I mean, they're all just gorgeous. So why would I not use them? Confidence has no competition. Okay. Be yourself. Fearlessly authentic. That's a pretty one, isn't it? That one. I mean, they're all pretty. Her soul is fierce, her heart is brave, her mind is strong. Oh, and it's got blue tits on it. Come on. Come on, guys. That's got to be the one. The one with the blue tits on. Yay. So I'm just going to, I don't need to cut the branding strip off yet. I'm just going to cut that out. And along here. Oh, cut that wrong, but it's near enough. And then just trim this one out. There we go. I'll come back to those because I will need more. So that's going to be my front cover. The blue tits will, yeah, the blue tit's going to get covered up, but that's okay. Not much we can do about that. And this other little dicky bird will be on show, so that's okay. So bear in mind, I'm not inking anything. That's just going to get stuck down there. So let's do that. I don't know what I'm holding that side up for. I'm going to stick it down with Collage, and then if it doesn't look quite straight, I've got a little minute to move it around. Whereas the other glue is just, you stick it and it's stuck. There we go. So let's just see exactly where we want this. About there, I would say. That looks quite nice, apart from it's on the wong. There we go. That's lovely. That is lovely. Lovely, lovely. Just going to get my brayer out and give that a bit of a once over. There we are. Happy that that is stuck down. Okay, so moving along. Possibly one on the front of this notebook. And we've got them, why not use them? This is that lovely little birdie house. That's nice. Oh, the Rose Cottage one's nice. Well, it's not, doesn't say Rose Cottage, it says Rose Couture. Oh dear. This one's just got some sort of, oh, I do like that one. I also like the confidence has no competition. No, I might use the Rose Couture. Let's get it right. I might have to cut the width of this down actually, but we'll see. Might be just a touch too wide for where I want it. Just correct my earlier cutting mistake. No, it does fit on there. Fits on there nicely. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Oh, this is such a pretty little folio. I mean, I've been dwelling in the world of Timmy of late, and believe me, for me, there is no better place. But isn't it nice just to lighten things up a bit and go with pretty? I was going to stick that fairly centrally. I could go down to one side, etc, etc. You could put it anywhere, but I quite like it like that. Okay. Braille. Lovely. That's that. So let's pop that back in there. Then the other notebook. Surely get one on here, won't we? I reckon. You got this. I've got that nice flowery one. That might look quite nice on there. Or the birdhouse. Let's do the birdhouse. Oh no, I'll tell you, the other one I really like is that one. Yeah, that's the one I'm going to do. That's just not quite square. I feared it wasn't. And then I didn't cut the branding strip off, so it's got to come off as well. There we go. Yeah, that's really, really lovely. And it does marry up with these colours here, so happy with that. Let's pop that on there. I think, and I've seen a lot of Prima pads. I've owned quite a few in my life. I think this is the prettiest Prima paper pad I've ever seen. It's just glorious. And I really honestly couldn't tell you how many times I've bought this. Quite a lot. I love it. For mini albums and that sort of thing, or even scrapbooking I guess, but for mini albums it's phenomenal. Phenomenal. There we go. So that's that notebook done. That can pop into there. Like that. Marvellous. So we're getting that done. Now, have I got room on the front of that for one? I have, if it's a one I can cut down. So that one I can definitely cut down. Fearlessly authentic. I don't know if I like that. Be yourself. Yeah, like that. Just a girl growing wings. I'm yours, no returnsies. I quite like that. I quite like that. That amuses me, but maybe not suitable for a journal. So I think I'll probably go with the flowers. Yeah, probably. It's probably the dullest one, but you know. So let's trim it out and then see what we've got to trim off. Just a little bit top and a little bit bottom. So that's where it sort of conveniently wanted to cut. So let's see if that's going to fit there. Oh yeah, beautifully. I think it kind of goes that way, but yeah, that's lovely. Let's stick that on. So fairly centrally on that pocket panel. That looks pretty all right. Pretty all right. Oh, I'm not sure now actually. There we go. Lovely. So what else can we do by way of decorating? I've got no more room really. Well, I could put one on the back, couldn't I? That would just... I very seldom put anything on the back, but I've got them, so why not do it? I've got the ones that I really like are that one with... yeah, that's it in fact. Not even going to look any further, that's the one I like. Just need to trim a titchy bit off the top there, I think. Yeah, that's just going to be nice there, isn't it? I think so. So after this section, which isn't finished yet, we're going to move on to... Last week we did inky backgrounds. And I did tell you that using acrylic paint or distress paints are a very different beast to inks. So we're going to do a little segment on that. And then we'll move on to the collage. So full week this week. There we go. I've got that nearer the bottom than the top, but I quite like that. Yeah, that's nice. Perfect. Okay, so I've finished with those cutter parts. They can go back in the book. And then I've got these roundly ones. So I was wondering maybe down there. And on the top of there, let's cut one out and see what we think. Where is my punch? This is 1.5 inch punch. This one is I think it's 2 inches. Doesn't say, but I think it's too big anyway. This one is no, that one's a 2 inch. I don't know, I'll leave these out, the 1.5 inch and the 2 inches. We'll see what we need. Oh, I'm going to go for this inky one first. So I'll try the 2 inch one, see what that looks like. Yeah, I think that might be the one actually. This one. I don't know if I cut. Let's cut it out. See the scale of the problem. Come on. So if I get in there, I need tweezers now. I've cut it too tight. Well, that's nice. Let's see what the 1.5 inch's got to say. think I like that better. I need to just trim a little bit off there so I can get in tight enough. Yeah, I mean that's just it. I am cutting a fair bit off, but I like that, it's nice. Yeah, you see I've cut all of that off, but it's nice, I like it. Yeah, and it fits there very nicely. So, okay, what else can we have? Can I have that plain pink one? That's rather nice. So I'm just gonna go with the 1.5" one again. Just pop that in behind it. And I need one more. I can't leave it like that. It's crying out for one more. There's a sort of pink. No, that's a. What else have we got that's plain? Not pink. Oh, that's gorgeous. How about this Faith and Family? No, that doesn't go with my. There's a light bluish one here. Actually, there's a light bluish one there. I don't know why I'm making my life so awkward. Let's see if I can get all of that, or pretty much all of that in. I'm not so sure that I will be able to. No, I don't think it's going to happen. But I can get pretty much, so that will do me. So let's pop that there. Or maybe just in behind actually. Just like that. Yeah, like that. That's nice. That's very nice. Bring it down, see what you think. It's hard to see actually on this paper. The paper is gorgeous, but I appreciate it's difficult for you to see. But we're nearly there. So I'm just going to stick these down. Stick it there so you can still see that lovely gold foiling on the paper. And then I'm going to put that one there, so I'm going to put that about there. Okay. Lovely. Perfect. Takes a little while, doesn't it, to make a folio from start to finish. I think we've done rather well. There we are, so that's that decorated up there. It looks lovely. It's really nice, really pretty. That's done. You could, if you wanted, put a circle there, but no, got that part done. So just something on here now really is what I'm after. I like these ones, they're lovely. And that one fits in my 2" one perfectly. I'm going to put that in the centre actually. Not often I put things in the centre, but that looks just so good there. Which way? That way maybe. Let's just just see if I have got that in the centre. Yeah, right there I'd say. Lovely. So that's pretty much all the decorating we need to do for that. Don't think it needs any more. So that's going to fold over there, and then this is coming over here. So now we need to think of a method of holding this closed. So I think I'm going to use just the string and button closure. You know, where I make an eyelet and then I put a button on of a string. You'll know it when you see it. It's just a convenient one, really. So that measures 5.5. So 2 3/4. Brain nearly deserted me. So I'm going to make a mark there and put an eyelet in. I think this one merits a gold eyelet to match the gold foiling on it. This is why I've changed to using my big bite. I just find it so much easier. But I'd have to stand up to get it, so that's not happening. Okay, that's in okay. So I'll just pause you for a sec while I go and find a button. Well, I thought you might like to rummage through my button box with me. I've got loads of buttons. These are wooden buttons, they're hearts and arrows and all sorts of things. They're obviously not suitable. Wooden butterfly buttons, painted. Oh, I can't go through everything, just looking for the right thing. That's quite pretty. Would that go? Kind of would. I'll lay that out. I need a 2-hole button, that's the thing. And a lot of the buttons I've got, God, that would look gorgeous in a dangle, wouldn't it? A lot of the buttons I've got are, that would go. Let's have a look, see if it's too big. Yeah, no, I need something a little paler. That other one that we pulled out, what does that look like? That looks okay. I could get away with that. But still she rummaged. You gotta rummage. Wow, that's a gigantic one. And here, what have I got? Proper wooden buttons. Toggles. You name it. You name it. It's the result of Mr. F buying like job lots of buttons at charity shops. See, they're all blue and they're quite nice actually. I think that's the one. I think that is the one. Let's just show you what it looks like, see what you think. I like that, it goes with that. Yeah. Let's do that then. I love all my little tins and bags of buttons, and I just love them. Something nice about just struggling through them. Anyway, thanks Mr. F. Ooh, that's quite a weight. You're welcome. So now, what am I going to use? I think I'm just going to use the traditional twine that I always use. Is it out? Yeah, it's out. I use a lot of this. I don't need masses of it. So all I do is thread that from the underside. This hasn't got an underside and an oversight, or whatever you want to call it, but thread it through from the back to the front, then from the front back. You know, I haven't done this for so long. Back to the back, and then you make your ends equal length. I seem to have a while where I was doing this like daily. Like that, there we go. And then these two go through the eyelet. I seem to remember anyway. I think that's right. Through there, like that. And then this wraps around there, comes back to here, wraps around there, goes back round the back. Ooh, that's a bit tight. I think it'll be alright though. And that's it. That's the closure. Looks nice, doesn't it? I'll go over how to tie that once more with you, but first I just want to put my Velcro dots on because they would be easy to forget. These are proper Velcro dots. I have tried many others. I've tried Ali, I've tried, you know, shop bought ones. They just don't work. Well, they're too thick, actually, is the problem. But these Velcro dots, they're ultra thin and they do the job perfectly. So I'm putting it right in the corner. The problem is, because they're Velcro, they're quite expensive. And it's one of those costs when you're making a journal, don't overlook that, because, you know, you have to replace them at some stage. So I'm just going to stick the fluffy side to the rough side, like that. These are self-adhesive ones, and they are very self-adhesive. So I'll just pull it off the backing and put it fluffy side down on there, like that. And then that comes over and you press that down, and the sticky bit will stick, and then it just peels off like that. So I've got the two bits here and the two bits here, but because they're so thin you can barely see them. You can, there's one there, look, but they're really almost invisible. So that's going to go there and get stuck down. So that's that job. Then that folds over. Let me put my Velcro away. I think it's like £10 or something for just, you know, not very many. So look after them. I think I got mine from Amazon, but they don't appear to have them at the moment. I've got enough there to last me for a while anyway. Right, so this, let's see if this string is long enough. So that comes over like that. And what I normally do is bring it back and go around there, but I'm just going to bring it that way. Might use up a little less. And then twice around the button. That's all right, that's fine. Phew, there we go. So there is our little folio. I shall bring it up. So I've just asked Mr. Every to bring us in a bit so you can see actually what I was talking about. So this is my string and button closure. It could have done with being slightly longer, but that's how long it is. And it's got a gold eyelet and the button just goes there. Then it opens up and we've got this. Her soul is fierce, her heart is brave, her mind is strong, with a little blue tit. Then it opens up and we've got a notebook there, these 3 circles down there. This notebook is lovely, it's decorated. I mean, it's just the prettiest of papers anyway. But you know, it's got a lot of writing space in there. So for something so little, it's well armed. Then here, it's decorated with this at the top and this beautiful one at the bottom. It's got its Velcro dots on, and it opens up, and we've got another booklet there with beautiful decoration on, and it's another good sized booklet. That just goes into there. That comes down and sticks, and that's it. There's no trickery to it or anything, that's just it. So it goes round, and then round the button a couple of times, and that's that. So there we have it, guys. That is the folio. Right, don't go anywhere, because just give me a second and I will tidy up all my lovely Prima papers and get ready for the distress paints. So I'll see you in a sec. Right, so welcome back. This is part 2 of the premiere. This is where we get messy, or not. I think Judy tried the inky backgrounds last week and she's a bit averse to mess, as are a lot of us. I mean, I don't like mess, uncontrolled mess, although yeah, I do create it quite often. But you know, I did show you ways that really weren't that messy. This time we're going to be using the Tim Holtz Distress paints. I've looked out salvaged patina and speckled egg, and dried marigold and saltwater taffy. So I've got those two to go together, these two to go together. See what happens with those. I also have a brand new toy to play with. I have never, and it's not ice cream. It'd be nice if it was, but what's inside's even better than ice cream. It's these beauties. Look at these. Now, I had never even seen these before. They are Seth Apter Eyes Ink, and they're just called Pigment with Seth Apter. And I've got the whole set here, thanks greatly to Mr. F, who obviously spotted them on eBay or somewhere and just purchased them all. But there's some beautiful, beautiful colours, and some are pearl. And look at that rose colour, it's gorgeous. I think that they are similar, that once they're dry, but we're going to have a play and have a look and see. I just want to have a look and see what colours I've got. Oh, look at that one. Yeah, I like that. Olive drab, yeah. Olive drab. Put it next to the pink, it naturally lives there. Oh, look at this. Ultramarine. I don't know how you tell which ones are sparkly and which ones aren't. Celestial. Ooh. After Dark. This one. That definitely looks sparkly, I think. Called Thundercloud. Oh yeah, this is very sparkly. Opal Frost. Kind of silvery kind of colour. And this one, Wet Meadow. I think that's a flat colour. Stratosphere. I think that's a flat colour. This one, Royal Gold. That's definitely metallic. Ooh, this one. What's this called? Improper Copper. I like it. Improper Copper. And it's very, very shiny. Very. This one, which is Purple Haze. This one, Atlantis. Mimosa. Oh, some gorgeous colours here. This one, Avalanche. White. This one, Titanium. Yeah, that's a sparkler. This one, Raspberry Beret. A reference to Prince there. And this one, which is Lychee. So there we have the ones that I have, and I think Mr. F said that's all of them in the set. What a glorious array of colours. I love this one. What's that? Roast chestnut and the improper copper. They would be nice together. Oh yes. Right, so I will be playing with those later on. I don't know whether there's ball bearings in it or not. I'm not hearing any. There might be some in the... No, I'm not hearing any. But we'll give those a go later. Let's play with the distress paints first. What a box of goodness. So, right, I made some things yesterday just when I was practicing to see what I could show you, and I made these not on watercolour paper actually, oddly enough. I'm after some little pieces of ephemera to put in these file folio things that I'm making, so I just thought I'd have a little go and see what I could do. So quite like these. That's a little envelope there. You can see the two colours quite clearly. I think that was vintage photo and frayed burlap actually, and you get a nice... That's just gorgeous. I just love it. And this one, which I really love, I stamped first and embossed with white embossing powder, and then went over it with my two paints. Isn't that lovely? Gorgeous. And then I thought I'd better do something pretty, so I did this in spun sugar and I can't remember which blue I used for that. And then I just stamped on it and painted it, just to show you that you can paint on top of paint. So it's a little, she's supposed to be the lavender flower fairy, but I wanted her to be pink, so I made her pink. So that would be a nice tag if you were doing that sort of journal, which we're not. But I'm not gonna grunge you up today, although I like the idea. It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna make a start on this watercolor paper because, oh my goodness, that's pretty rubbish. Because that's what you should be using, really, I think, if you're going to be getting paper wet. Come on. There we go. So I just want to cut a piece off this. This is 300 GSM. I don't think it says, it doesn't say what it is in American pounds. It's cold press, so it's quite bumpy on this side, on both sides actually. So let's just cut a piece off and see what happens. I'll cut it to there. No specific measurement. Cut that in half-ish. I don't know, something like that. Wow, that wasn't a bad guess for half. So I just work on one at the moment, and let's work on the speckled egg and salvage patina. One of my very, very favourite colour mixers this is. I love it. So you really do not need a lot. So I'm just going to put down that much, which is like next to nothing. Get my demister out, or whatever it's called, spray vaporizer, distress sprayer. Add some water to that, and I'm just gonna mix that up in there. So I'd expect this to be a very light colour. And I'm just going to do the same as I used to do, as you've seen me do with the inks. Just going to splotch it on see what we get. And as I say, it's a very light colour, but it's lovely. There we go. Don't know if I can get any more on that. It's quite wet. Just want to pick up those little drops if I can. Yeah, that's fine. So now I'm just going to dry that. So there we go, that's dry, and that in itself has got lots of interest. And if we were doing this with ink and not paint, we'd have to be prepared to sacrifice that now, because we'd put the next layer of ink on and it would just all meld together. But with this, watch what happens, because that isn't what's going to happen. So I just want a little bit. It's quite a strong colour, this Salvage Patina, to be honest. A little bit of water in there. Mix it up. Make it nice. Pop goes the weasel. There we go. So I'm just going dipping again. Look at that. So we're beginning to get real depth in here. Oh, it's lovely. Yeah, that's nice. And none of it is mixing with that speckled egg underneath. Not a bit of it. And even if you added water to this now, you could make the Salvage Patina move, but you wouldn't make that speckled egg move at all. So let's see what else we can, if there's anything left to pick up on that speckled egg. No, that's about it. So I'm just going to dry that. So that's dry now, and I'm just going to go back in to the lighter colour and just watch what happens to the bigger areas. Of course, there's no guaranteeing anything's going to happen. I've got a frog in my throat. Because we can't tell where things are going to go. But I'm just going to dip it in. So this is our third layer. And you can see that that's lying on top of the Salvage Patina underneath. That's looking so nice. That's just looking really nice. So let's dry that off. So that's really lovely. It's a lovely background. You could go on and keep adding to it, add different colours to it if you wanted to. I might do that just to show you, but that's pretty much it. So there you've got two really nice journal cards, I'd say. And if you ink around the edge, it somehow brings it even more to life. So let's just cut those off as two journal cards. And I'll ink around one just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Oh, not with that, with ordinary ink. The thing about the distress paints that a lot of acrylics don't have is that they are translucent. You can see through them. Which means then you can create layers that you can't necessarily do with other acrylics. So that's the kind of joy of them, if you like. And the other thing is, they are called names that we all recognise instantly. You know, if somebody said, oh yeah, you know, so-and-so, he drives a Salvage Patina car. You'd know instantly who that is, wouldn't you? You don't see too many cars with salvage patina. So there we are. I've inked around that, and you can see it really creates a nice edge to that. So there's a really nice journaling card. You can stamp on it, you can paint on it, you can do all sorts of things to it, but it looks really nice. So that's that. So with this one, let's add something. Let's add something groovy. Let's add Rusty Hinge. I can't help myself. It's just so lovely. I think this one, yeah, it has been open. Keon kindly sent me this from America because it was impossible to get it in this country. So I've just put out a tiny bit because this is a tiny bit of paper. Just wet that. I've got ink down there. Salvage patina, which I don't want, so we'll remove that. And I'm just going to stir that up a bit. There we go. And just dip it in. See what we get. Wow, look at that. So that's on top of everything else. And I just want to move that around a bit. Looks a bit dotty. So I'm just going to add water to that and move it around. And then you'll see what I mean about it sitting on top of the other colours. It's not mixing with them. This colour is still Rusty Hinge. But it's on top of the other colours. That's just lovely. Just want a little bit in that corner. There we are. So you begin to build up your depth like that, layer upon layer. And that's, you know, people who don't get mixed media don't realise that it's just all about the layers. This light's a bit funky in here today, actually. I think that's a little bit better, a bit of a mess around with the lights. So what I'm going to do now is use the same, well, dry that, and then use the same salvage patina to ink around it. So I've dried that, and I hope that you can really see that all those marks that we had from the speckled egg and the salvage patina are still there. The Rusty Hinge on top hasn't moved these in the slightest. It's just lying on the top. So I'm just going to go around this as I did with the other one, with the salvage patina ink. And this is also translucent, but this is serving a different purpose. This is just edging it. We don't, you know, we're not going to try and move this. You could if you wanted, but this will move forever and a day, Distress ink, because it's water reactive. Whereas the acrylics, they are water reactive as long as they're wet. But once they've dried, they are permanently set. And of course that's a good thing and a bad thing, depending on how you want to use them. This is just going to be a short little introduction today, because there's just so much that you can do with these paints. So there we have it. That's the one with the Rusty Hinge, because I just couldn't help myself, of course. And that's the one was just the speckled egg and the salvage patina. Now I know that, you know, everybody's going to have their own thoughts on what they like. This one's really pretty. It really is. This one, it's not really pretty, but it's kind of grungy and I quite like it. So it's just two different looks you can get just from the same technique, really. Just showing you that the paint, once it's dry, doesn't budge. So that's two little ideas there. Now I'm going to move change papers, because this is lovely. It's gorgeous quality, but it's so thick. You could get away with making a journaling card out of that, but it would need to be backed, and then it would get thicker. And I want to make things like the envelopes and stuff that I showed you, so let's just cut a piece off here. Oh, I think I've got a piece there actually from yesterday. Let's use that. So let's make a tag, shall we? So I'm going to cut it off at 3 1/4. And then at, let's say 7-ish, I don't know because that doesn't measure that high. So this time we're going to use the saltwater taffy and the dried marigold. Dried marigold, I think, is, I might have said this to you before, might have said it on more than one occasion, much overlooked paint. It's a really pretty little peach colour. So I'm going to get my saltwater taffy nicely agitated. You can hear those ball bearings working, and just put out, well, let's do it onto the paper this time. Straight onto the paper. 2 little drops, the smallest little drops you can possibly get out, really. And I'm just going to hold that and I'm going to spray it. Let's see how far we can move it. Not that far, not on this paper anyway. So I'm going to have to get a paintbrush out. Let's try this one. Let's just move that around. So this isn't messy. I don't think you could say this was messy. So I'm going to have a sort of background here, which is okay, that's alright. Wasn't what I was thinking of, but then again I wasn't really thinking of anything, so you can see it's starting to dry now and I'm starting to have problems moving it, which is okay. It's just doing its thing. There we are. So I've got a sort of a background there now. So I'm just going to dry that. Right, so this one's dry, so I'm going to get my little dried marigold out. Put a little drop there. Water it down. Mix it up. And we'll see now what this looks like on top of a darker colour. Out of interest, because this is not going to move. Well, basically you can't really see it. I can, I hope you can. There's sort of little waves of it, but it's not. Actually, it's really, really pretty. I don't know why I'm saying anything wrong about it. It's gorgeous. Let me just dry it and see what happens. Right, that's it dry. And you definitely can see that lighter colour over the top, which is really interesting, because if we'd done that with ink, you would not have seen any of that lighter colour at all. I mean, it's just so pretty, so delicate. It's gorgeous. I love it. I really do. I'm very tempted to go back in again with the dried marigold. Yeah, let's do that, see what we get. Probably more of the same, but you never know, do you? Something strange might happen. I doubt it, but we'll see. So I'm just going to drop this in. And where it layers over the other dried marigold, it'll just add to its intensity. It's not going to take it away or anything. Yeah, now we're getting a much bigger layer, more prominent layer of the dried marigold. Oh, look at these movements, they're gorgeous. So I'm just going to dry that and then call it a day, I think, for this piece. Right, so that's dry, and look at it. I absolutely love it. It's so worth doing, that dried marigold. That would just be gorgeous to stamp on top of. It's just so pretty. It's really, really pretty. When we put the first layer down, I was a bit underwhelmed, but this just looks gorgeous. So there we are. There's another one. What shall I do now? Shall I try the eyes ink ones? Yeah, I think I will. I'll get those out. Right, I've sorted out some colours that I want to use. I've sorted out ultramarine, stratosphere, avalanche and royal gold. I really have no preconceived ideas about what's going to happen with this. I'm just kind of going for it. But I'm going to wet my paper first, because it is watercolour paper. I'm back to the watercolour paper. And I think I'll start with the light blue, the stratosphere. And inside, I mean, it looks like nail varnish for all the world, doesn't it? Then when you get inside, it's got a blooming brush. I mean, this... So I'm going to just put some on my mat, my messy mat. See how far that gets us. So I'm going to water it down, same as I would with any sort of medium. Spread that out a bit. See if I can pick it up. Ooh, that's very light, isn't it? Combination, I feel, of water on the page and watering this down. So let's just go for it straight on the page, shall we? See what happens. This is real-time experimentation, guys. I've never used these before. It would appear they don't really want to move. I can't just keep adding water. These are reminding me of Dina Wakley sprays, actually. Maybe I need to watch a video. That might have been an idea. So there we go. Got some on there. Quite randomly, quite nicely. So let's dry that off. It's going to take a while because it's quite thick. So see you in a sec. Right, well, Mr. F now informs me that he's read about these and that you can use them on glass and rocks and stuff like that, and they're not supposed to move. Therefore, I couldn't get them to move. But I'm just going to work with what I've got here. And I'm just going to put some of the darker blue around the place. see what happens. How do you know what's going to happen if you don't know? I'm going to spray water. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. I'm going to spray water on that just to give me something to work with, really. But I'm firmly of the belief that once these are dry, they're absolutely dry. You can't budge them, because I can feel them drying up now under my brush. So that's interesting. I might come back in with the light blue and just see if it wants to sit on top of it. So right, okay, so it's pretty dry. I wouldn't say it was bone dry, but it's pretty dry. I'm just going to go back into this light blue because now I'm curious to know if it's going to cover over this. Oh, it looks like it is. Oh my goodness, these are exciting. Oh my life. Never in the mind of man. Well, obviously in the mind of Seth Apter. Makes me want to put this on my nails because they're so fingernaily and they're so pretty. Right, so I'm just going to put some water out here. Oh, I've got a lot of that dark blue on there. Let's get rid of that. That'll do. Put some water there before my ink dries. Let's just pull that up over the darker blue and see if it shows or if you just lose it or what happens. It's drying already. Yeah, no, it definitely sits on top of that, but it's translucent. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, it's drying now, so I can't move it at all. But it is sitting on top of that other blue. Pretty background. Pretty. Let's wash that off and then I'll come back in with white. Might as well give it a darn good test while we're at it. It's not bone dry again, but we'll see what happens. So I'm just going to splodge this over some of the darker regions because I'm curious. Curious to see what happens. So I just want some water just to... Oh, look at that. It totally covers it. That's amazing. You could use this for stenciling over or anything. Oh, I love this. It's a really pretty background. I'm overplaying with this now and I'm losing the whiteness, but I'm aware of that. There we go. Oh, how many thousands of layers does it look like that has? It's amazing. Let's clean my brush off of the white. It would have been easier to go and get a pot of water, wouldn't it, really? But, you know, I'm nearly finished messing now. The only colour I've got on my desk that I haven't used yet is gold, and I'm determined to give it a go. So I'm just going to dry this, and I'm back. Right, as I said, the only colour that I have on my desk that I haven't used so far is the gold, and it's a shiny one. Obviously it's gold. And I don't want much on it, too much bling, blitz, glitz, whatever you want to call it. It can really spoil a composition, so I'm going to be very restrained here. Just put odd little blobs here and there. That might even be enough, you know. Let's just spread that out a little bit with a paintbrush. All that's happening there is I'm picking it up. I don't know, maybe, yeah, it is. It's nice and shiny. I'll move that around like that, then I'll come back in and put some more sort of solid colour on it. I don't know if you can see how shiny that is. Yeah, there you go. It's shiny. But I just want something just a little bit like that. Now I wonder if you can do splatters. Oh yes, you can. Haha. Yeah, you can. You can splatter yourself and everything around you. That's enough of that, I think. I'd say that's enough. Yeah, I've got splatters everywhere. Excellent. T-shirt could do with a bit of a jizz up. Just wipe up most of that splatter. I'll dry that and then I'm going to call that a day, but I'm delighted with it. Is it a good time for dinner, or because I've still got the whole entire collage to do? Oh. Sorry about that. I thought I was paused. I was asking Mr. F if it was dinner time. Anyway, there is what I've got to offer you. That gold is very, very gold. Splatters are nice and gold as well. So, you know, I've never had a go with these before. I had no idea really what they did, and I love that. I think it's really, really lovely and so interesting. So, would I go out and buy a load of ice ink pigments? I don't know. I need to play with them a bit more yet, but I think there's lots of mileage for playing. You know, that light blue really holds its own against everything else, as does the white, actually. They're beautiful. I love them. They've got loads of potential. So there we are. That's that background. So now it's time to put those away. There's so many other ways that you could play with paint, but, you know, that's enough for today. And now I'm going to move on to the collage. Okay, so the collage section, and we're at week 16 this week. And it's kind of the week I've been dreading. I knew this prompt was going to come up, and I was just every week hoping it wouldn't. But here it is, lace. I am not a lacy person, I'm really not. A button, okay, fabric. So that's kind of not too bad. You're getting more into my... I like those three together better than just lace on its own. Tag and label. All right, okay. So I have had to give this some... I'll just put that there in case you want to screenshot it, or I think Judy very, very kindly copies it down every week and puts it in our Miss Paint-A-Lot's junk journal group, for which I'm very grateful for her doing that. So there we are, week 16, lace, button, fabric, tag and label. Some are a bit disparate, but most of them, yeah, we can do. Okay, so I'll put that there so I can see what I'm doing. And I have actually this week gathered some stuff together. I've cut myself a page, and I've made myself a frill on the machine. It's just thin cotton, and I've just made a frill. And I've shown you how to do that a million times, so I won't show you again. But I thought that we could have that coming down there. I thought that I could have some lace, and I haven't got any very thick lace actually. But I've got that'll probably do. That would probably be okay. And I'm just going to put that on the bottom and on the top. Yeah, I think so. And I've got some ticking because I love ticking. And I'm going to make a pocket out of that and put a tag in the back. That's kind of what I've got in my mind anyway. So let's put the lace on first. Now I could glue that, or I could stitch it. Or I could glue it very lightly and then stitch it. Yeah, that's what I might do. I've lost my glues now. Does glue stick hold things? Hold lace? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if it just holds it long enough for me to get to the machine and back. Yeah, it might actually. It might. So let's just do that bit along the bottom. Oh, forgot I'd switched it off. Where's my foot pedal? Oh my goodness. Here, right, okay. Excellent. So yeah, glue stick works, who knew? So let's just trim that off. I don't mind about leaving some thread ends, I quite like them hanging around the place sometimes. I don't want that to be neat either. I'm just off neat at the minute. It might never come back. And the same here, I'm just going to leave a bit of space at that side for the frill to go down. Oh, I've got a pin in there. Got a pin. So let's just put that there. Lovely. Come on, stay where I put you. So I just want to trim the end off that so I don't end up sewing it. All this is moving, but I think it'll stay firm enough for us to stitch. Whoa, or not. I've gone off the rails. I didn't think to hold it, of course, because I thought the glue was holding it, but it wasn't, so. Good job I'm not after a really neat and tidy job here. Oh, that hasn't even stitched at all, my goodness. Come on. This is a shabby job. shabby job. I'm pretty sure that's stitched. Here's hoping anyway. Funny, the glue worked so well with one side and didn't work at all. Look at all these thread ends I've got. Oh my goodness me. Let's just hack through a few of those. There we go, that's fine. And I really am not concerned in the slightest that that is not straight. I kind of like it not being straight actually. Okay, so moving along. This is the side that I want to put my frill on. So I guess I could stick that on. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm going to glue it and I'm going to attempt to stitch it again. Because it's only thin, very thin cotton poplin I would say this is. So kind of there. I think I've cut that a bit short, but I'm alright with that. Possibly wants to come in a little bit there. Okay, that's fine. That's grand. So let's attempt to stitch this on. I'm just going to stitch it over the line that I used before to gather it. I think it stays attached. Okay. Oh, it's getting some interest about it. I think. Chop the ends off. And this I just want to cut off. I'll cut it off there, see what it looks like. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. What I should have done, I think, is colour this backdrop before I put any lace or anything on it, because it's looking very white and boring. Anyway, I didn't. So I've got my ticking and I want to make a pocket out of it. I haven't got very much of this blue ticking left actually. So where do I want to cut it? That's fine, that edge. It's a bit rough, that'll do me. And then I want to tear it about there. Let's just see if we can tear that. Yep. I might as well tear it there where there's already been a piece taken off it. Okay, let's take the loose threads off there if there are any. This is going to be a pocket of sorts. Yep, I want to angle this corner. So let's just have a look at that. Yeah, you see I should have coloured that. Is it too late now to do it? Yeah, possibly is. I'll leave it. Even if it had been cream it would have been better, but it's white. Right, so I just want to stitch down there, then I want to put lace down there, that's what I want to do. That's right. So I might as well use this same lace actually. Yeah, I'll use that there. And see if I can stitch that without it going awry. Okay, so far so good I think on that score. Let's just tidy the tops off. And this one. Lovely. So that's going to go there like that. How nice. That's lovely. Actually liking this. And I did make a big one of my big floppy flowers. That's a blue button in the middle. It looks a bit black, but it is blue, and I thought that could go there. So I just need to stitch this down or glue it down or whatever I'm going to do. I think stitch more than likely. So let's glue it first. So where does it come to? It comes to about there. So I'm just going to put sporadic bits of glue on it and along here. Oops. I just want it to hold just for a minute till I get it to the sewing machine. You don't have to hold for life, mate, just a minute. Just a little bit down here. See if that will hold. Could have clipped it really, that might have been a better idea. Too late to think of these things now. Right, let's give it a go anyway. Might zigzag this for a change. For something different. Coakley. So let's just trim that and that. What else have I got to trim? There. There we go. I think we're not too bad for ends. Okay, so that's that. It is a pocket. Does work as a pocket. And I just need to stick this on. Now, what am I going to stick that on with? Hot glue would probably be the thing. But I don't have any. So what I intend doing, I mean, I have got a hot glue gun, but I haven't got it out and functioning. So I think I'll use distress glue, maybe. I don't know where I put it. Of course, there it is. No, thank you, it's alright. I'll just use this. It's not going to argue with that, is it? It just takes a little while to dry. That's my bugbear with this, and I just want something underneath it to stop it sticking all the way through. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put a clip on it, and I'm going to leave it for a while I go and seek out the things that I need. Clip, clip, clip. For the rest of this project. Are you going to reach? Yay, well done. So I'll pause you there and I'll go and look out what else I need. I'll see you back here in a minute. Well, I haven't given that ages to dry, but really long enough. And I have found this label. I've got a box of labels here. I obviously ordered them from Ali. I don't know quite why, but they're all very nice. I've just had a look through them for one that I might want to use. It's kind of looking on a blue theme, really. And I found that one, which I like. They are actually stickers, I think, but I'm just going to use it as a label. I'm not going to take the back off, so it's going to be all right. And I found my Sizzix Thinlets, the label one. It's 662423. There's 12 different label sizes in there. To be honest, I have never used it yet. So let's have a look, see what you get, see what we want. Oh, there's one of a label. I just want a little one, really. Maybe that one. No, I want one that looks like a tag, because that's the prompt. That's the whole idea of doing this, you ninny. Yeah, that's a tag. That'll do me nicely. Okay, let's put... Oh, that's quite a nice size of a tag, isn't it? No, I'm going to use the little one. If it doesn't look right, I'll come back and... Oh, hey, cut another one out. I've got too much machinery on my desk. I've got my tiny Timmy and my sewing machine, and there's just not much room left for me. So I've cut it out. I've cut out a strip of blue. It's paper, I would say, rather than card. It's kind of thin card. One of those things. So let's just run this through. There we go. There we have it. A tiny tag. But that's all that's required. Just says tag. Doesn't say big tag. Put that back in there where that lives. Put my tiny Timmy away. Put my die away. My goodness, what's happening? Right, so. Heck, oh, I needed a bulb clip. Forgot to get one. So here's my giant box of bulb clips, all different colours. I love these. I think I got them from Amazon and they came already packaged like this. It's just great. I love them. So I'm going to use a blue one. Why would I not? Come on, don't be awkward. There you go. I don't use these very often these days. Right, so I want to make a hole in this label in the centre. to put a mark down, because you know me, if I don't put a mark, I go way off kilter. So about there, I would say, is the middle. Oh, can't see that. Get the black one out, try it. Yeah, you can see that. So, yep. There we go, there's a hole in that. I don't know if that's central. It doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to clip those to my bulb clip. Clip that onto my pocket somewhere under that flower, like there for example. Shut that up. Perfect, perfect. See if this is stuck now. Well, I don't know, don't want to take too much big a chance on it, but certainly not dropping off anyway, don't think. No. Right, so I've got my, let's go through the list. Oh, I know what I wanted to add. I wanted to add this nice big tag. Look at that, fits in perfectly. Oh wow, that's helped things considerably. Right, let's just go through the prompts and check I've got them all. Lace, yes, plenty of. Button, yes. Fabric, for sure. Tag, well, I was putting this one in as my tag, and then I remembered I had that tag, so I've got two tags now, and a label, which is this. So there you go, that's my collage. So I'm going to, I still want to just darken that a bit, and in fact I'm going to. I just can't live with it. I can't live with it, and if you can't live with it, you can't live with it. I'll use the ground espresso because that's the thing that I've got on at the minute, the dauber. Excuse me. I don't want too much of it, so dab it off onto the back. That's better. That pleases my face somewhat better. It's just not bold. Yeah, that's all right. Just was really annoying me. Yeah, that's so much better. I'd go as far as saying I quite like it now. And that's going to go in there, like that. And there we have it. I'm just going to stick it in the book. And, I mean, that wasn't the trauma I thought it was going to be honest with you. Right, well, it's going to have to go in this side, because I've got this frou-frou hanging out here. I'm going to have to leave enough room for that flower. So it's going to have to go there. Does it fit? Oh yeah. I think that looks nice, you know, especially now we've darkened the doodah up. It looks better. Right, where's my colour? I enjoyed that. I'd go as far as saying I probably enjoyed that the most of any of the collages. And I was dreading lace coming up. I might incorporate something like this in one of the Timmy Flippy Flappies. Maybe not, but you know. Right, so leave enough room for the flower. Oh, that's the middle, the next, well, that one's the next one, but after that we've got the middle. I'm going to have to move that out a bit because it's not square. There we go. Yeah, that's fine. So there we have it. There is my collage of the day. Collage du jour. I've gone all foreign. So that will stick down in its own sweet time. We've got our little blue bits here. We've got the ticking, we've got the poplin, and just once more so you can see them, there are the collage prompts: lace, button, fabric, tag and label. Yeah, I have accomplished what I set out to do. So I really look forward to seeing yours. You can take yours in a completely different direction. You don't I was going to say you don't need to use fabric, but you do. It's one of the prompts. But I really look forward to seeing what you're up to. So I think, is that it, Mr. F? Are we done?
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap, I believe. So thanks very much for joining me as ever. I really appreciate it. Today's been a bit long, I feel. Anyway, look what we achieved. Look at that. How glorious is that? When you see it from a distance like that, it's just lovely because it looks like there's layers upon layers. I love it. So we did all of that. We did... oh yeah, we made the little book. Here's the little book. We made this little folio. That's gorgeous. That's pretty. So yeah, I mean, we achieved quite a lot today. So thanks very much. I look forward to seeing you through the week with more of the Timmy folio-ish journal. So see you then. Take care, everybody. Be kind, and I look forward to seeing your collages. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.